Mrs. Hutchins here again. Today I'm going to talk to you about books. One thing I miss more than anything, not having you here with me or not being at school, is that we don't get a chance to talk about books. Today I'm going to talk about my last read aloud, The Great Fuzz Frenzy. I loved this book for two main reasons. The first one was the main ideas and the theme. There were some themes in there that really touched me. The first one was curiosity. When the ball went down the hole and the prairie dogs saw their first tennis ball they've ever seen, they didn't know what it was. They didn't know whether to be afraid, but they were curious, and Pipsqueak was probably the most curious and put her claw out and got some of the fuzz. Another main idea was selfishness. Once they figured out the fuzz could come off the ball, they ended up fighting over it. One person especially was probably the most selfish, Big Bark. But then things got better. He was forgiven for being so selfish. And then the other theme, I think, is friendship. Now, the second reason I love this book is the way the authors played with words. I like words, I like sentences and phrases. Sometimes when I read, I really notice certain lines and phrases and words. They seem to like one letter. The title of the book, The Great Fuzz Frenzy, uses the letter, did you guess? F. And then they must have had a lot of fun trying to think of words that began with F. Not just any old word, but interesting words like fandango, fiesta, fiasco, and especially the word fuzz. When I read that book aloud, there were so many fuzzes. My mouth got full of fuzz, and that one page, I know, during the read aloud, I said fudge instead of fuzz. Maybe I was just hungry for chocolate peanut butter fudge, but you can go back and listen to the read aloud and see if you can find where I said fudge instead of fuzz. Another letter they liked and used a lot was the letter P. When the tennis ball was all white, no longer had fuzz, they talked about it had been picked, pruned, pulled, pinched. Again, playing with words that had P. One other thing they did was they misspelled words, like the word help. When the ball was tumbling down the tunnel, at the beginning they said help, but then there was another word under it that looked kind of like help, but it had extra letters. Those letters I had to read by stretching the word out. Help! It gave the word help more power. When Big Bark was barking his warning, they added A's and R's. Instead of just bark, they said bark. Wow, that sounds so much better. Now, if I was taking a spelling test, I better spell bark, the one on the top, and not the one at the bottom. Now, Ziggy has chicks, and if he was going to write a story about his chicks, he might want to use the word peep. Maybe the chicks do peep a lot, but maybe one day one of the bigger chicks steps on the foot of one of the smaller chicks, and maybe that smaller chick makes his peep. He stretches it out and says, peep! And then you know he was really hurt. So you can do this with your writing. You can stretch out words which feel like you're misspelling, but it's okay when you're the author. Now I want to thank you guys for listening to this follow-up to the read aloud. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did talking about books. Take care, and I'll see you again.